The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, making a surprise reappearance on Sunrise. And we begin this morning with a follow-up on that officer-involved shooting we brought you as breaking news on Friday. An incredible story of survival and bravery, as a Kern County Sheriff's deputy was shot in the head in Rosamond and survived. Sheriff Donnie Youngblood says it all started around 3:30 Friday morning in Rosamond. The suspect, 19-year-old Edgar Rojas, was allegedly trying to open car doors and in the process set off several alarms at the Sierra Vista mobile home park. Deputy Michael Valdez and his partner, Deputy Danielle Henderson, approached Rojas, but KCSO says Rojas ran off. The deputies later found him half a mile north in an alley on Locust Street. That's when they say Rojas fired, hitting Deputy Valdez, nearly taking his life.
This round actually went in here, and I'll show you the wound, and it encircled the head and then exited the rear, and the round was actually recovered from the hat he was wearing.
So you could say this was a miracle?
No question. We're talking a quarter of an inch from tragedy.
Rojas was later arrested that morning. Deputy Valdez taken to Antelope Valley Hospital, treated with stitches and released. Sheriff Youngblood says for now, Valdez says all he has is a headache. The rookie had just wrapped up field training 5 weeks ago.
It was a deadly weekend on Kern County roads with 3 people hit and killed in separate crashes. The first one happened just before 10 o'clock Friday night on White Lane near Real Road, where a man was hit and killed by a driver who then drove off. Based on parts left behind at the crash site, investigators say the car involved is a mid-2010 Subaru WRX. Then hit and killed on Stockdale Highway, east of California Avenue. Police investigating this crash are searching for a white early 2000s 4-door sedan, a gray pickup truck, and a red sedan. Then last night, a woman was hit and killed around 7:30 on White Lane near Union Avenue. Police say the driver is cooperating with that investigation.
Another investigation continues after a person was hit and killed by an Amtrak train last night. It happened just after 6 p.m. This is the scene at the train yards off Coffee Road immediately after the crash. BPD says BNSF Railway is helping with the investigation. The person who was killed has not been identified. And a motorcyclist died when he crashed into a semi-truck near Arvin yesterday. It happened here at the intersection of Bear Mountain Boulevard and South Edison Road. The investigation ongoing.
This morning, a teen is fighting for his life after he was shot over the weekend in Southwest Bakersfield. It happened at an apartment complex on McDonald Way near Bell Terrace just before 2 p.m. on Saturday. Bakersfield police say a 17-year-old boy was shot and is in the hospital with critical wounds. There is no word on who shot the teen or if police have a suspect.
17 Court Watch now. The former board president of the Fairfax School District returns to the courtroom today. Palmer Moland was charged in September with falsifying election documents and misappropriating public funds. He pleaded not guilty to 7 felonies. Prosecutors say Moland ignored bylaws that restrict using public funds to hire a law firm that was set to investigate him. He's also accused of lying about living within the district during the 2018 and 2020 elections. Moland faces permanent disqualification from holding office if convicted.
The Tehachapi woman acquitted of murder for killing an ex-boyfriend has been scheduled for retrial. A judge on Friday said no resolution had been reached despite lengthy discussions. A jury in October acquitted Wendy Howard of first and second degree murder, but deadlocked in favor of guilt for voluntary manslaughter in the heat of passion. Howard testified she confronted Kelly Pitts in June 2019 about the molestation of their then teenage daughter and then shot him as he drove toward her on an ATV. The retrial is scheduled for April. Today, lawmakers will convene at the state capitol for the start of a brand new legislative session. Both chambers will be full of returning veterans along with a few freshman members. Turns out this will be the most diverse California legislature ever once new members are sworn in later today. Among them are the first ever Muslim American and Sikh American assembly members, a record 10 LGBTQ plus members, and 49 women, a figure never seen before in Sacramento. While not every race has been called, Democrats are expected to retain a 2/3 supermajority in both the Senate and Assembly. Among new Democratic lawmakers, medical doctor Jasmeet Baines of Kern County.
Honored that the voters decided to vote for me, a person that might not have had any political experience, but has the experience of tackling problems in the community throughout my career.
The soon-to-be Assembly member will be the first ever Sikh American to serve in that role.
17 News is your local election headquarters. More than 3 weeks after the midterm election, there's a new frontrunner in a local race that we've been watching closely. This morning, only a dozen votes separate Democratic incumbent Melissa Hurtado and Republican David Shepard in the 16th Senate District race. Kern and Fresno counties provided another update Friday, and it shows both candidates still locked in that tight race. Although this is the first time Hurtado has taken a lead in the race since polls closed.
Well, the last major midterm race comes to a close tomorrow in Georgia, where voters will decide who wins the Senate runoff election. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington this morning with more.
Two Senate candidates, two distinctly different messages.
Georgia deserves a senator who actually knows what he's talking about.
We need warriors out there. We don't need politicians. We need people that are going to fight for this country.
Incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican candidate Herschel Walker are facing off in a runoff election in what's been a high-profile race featuring heated battles over inflation and abortion, along with jabs at the candidates' personal lives. Walker now facing new allegations from a woman who claims he physically attacked her during their 5-year relationship.
I believe the deception now is on the American people, and I have to say what I know. I have to tell the Herschel I know.
Walker and his campaign have not responded to Parsa's allegations. Even without Georgia, Democrats already retained control of the Senate. A Warnock win gives the party more cushion to pass legislation. Losing the seat gives Republicans a better chance to block parts of President Biden's agenda. Early voters are weighing in record numbers.
Herschel, why? You know, he and I think alike. We've got some of the same beliefs.
I got Warnock.
Why?
Because he's a steadfast person that has not faltered. He's way above the bar.
A CNN poll shows Warnock with a slight 52 to 48% edge over Walker. The final outcome now lies in voters' hands as they cast their ballots Tuesday. So what's at stake in the Senate? A 51-50 edge in the Senate would give Democrats more room to confirm more federal judges and reject bills passed by what will be a GOP-led House next session. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Well, you may notice some new changes to downtown Bakersfield in the coming years, with new efforts being made by the city to revitalize the area. City Council member Andre Gonzalez unveiled plans on Friday to revitalize the downtown area's 18th and 19th streets, starting with improvements between L and N streets. The goal is to make the streets more walkable and pedestrian friendly, similar to what you find near 18th and O streets, where businesses are thriving and streets are improved.
People, entrepreneurs want to come downtown. They want to be down here. There's something exciting happening, and it's based off of years of work that we've really invested and been very intentional about trying to revitalize downtown. It's not just simply installing a few lights or planting a few trees. There's a lot of infrastructure underneath the surface that really is required, and so we're designing that right now.
As for the streets being improved, Gonzalez says he hopes construction will begin by this time next year.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.